Welcome back. Semi-finals for our Gym Challenge Premier Challenge here at Psycho Turtle in Pico Rivera, California. Dennis, Fuecoco, he's struggling today. We are about to get underway for the semi-finals, and once again, it is Keanu, Inosanto, and Giovanni Costa. We had this matchup in round 5 of Swiss on stream, and we're getting it once again here in the semi-finals. Gio with a nice clean 2-0. We saw this matchup earlier. Moving quickly onto this one. Gio going to lead with the Fluttermane and the Urshifu. Keanu's side, the Glamora and the Ogerpon Wellspring. See that Glamora get have struggles. The Glamora struggled in the last battle, at the very least. Slower than the Urshifu. Took some serious damage. Slower than the Ogerpon. Took some serious damage against that. This matchup should be a little better for it. Definitely, the struggle with Glamora is always trying to get that Meteor Beam off while also then getting off the subsequent moves that you use with the Meteor Beam. See the Stellar Terra Urshifu immediately. It's Focus Sash, so it's going to be able to switch between those moves, Dark and Fighting. 2 types it gets. See the Icy Wind misses the Glamora. I believe that's not important. It is indeed not important. Urshifu still gets his close combat off. Onto the Ogerpon, picks up the knockout. Turn 1 KO for Giovanni. See what the Glamora goes for. It is indeed the Meteor Beam. See what it targets. That's the more important question. Special attack boost. Gets the power herb. And it decided to go for the Fluttermane. Does pick up the one-hit knockout in return. So 2 turn 1 knockouts. But that does mean one of the best things to match up into the Urshifu is gone. But hey, one of the best things to match up into Urshifu is the Fluttermane on your side, and that's exactly what Keanu brings out now. And now we do have a +1 Glamora and a Fluttermane on the field. This is pretty difficult to match with. This could also turn into a bit of a, well, the Urshifu still has Focus Sash intact, so it will at least be able to get a hit off. It'll probably want that hit to be... It goes for the Fake Out on the Glamora, does get the Toxic Debris up, but means that the Urshifu will stay standing after this turn. There's going to be an Icy Wind and then maybe some attack into the Urshifu. Doesn't really matter what it was, because it would have hit the Urshifu pretty badly. Instead, Urshifu does get its hit off, the Wicked Blow, into the Glamora, actually. Knocks it out regardless. Gets another layer of Toxic Debris up, so any Pokemon that switches in will be inflicted with badly poisoned. That does mean now that switching something else in isn't all that important, because the Urshifu here is really starting to cook. At this point, Keanu definitely having to start making some choices on what to deal with. Could be an opportunity for a knockout here. Incineroar will swap out. Swapping in is Farigiraf, and it'll be badly poisoned on switch in, as mentioned. Badly poisoned does do less damage on the first activation than normal poison, but does more on the third and later, as it doubles the damage each time, each turn. See the Terra Fairy on the Fluttermane. See the Sucker Punch onto the Fluttermane. I'd have actually liked to see a Sucker Punch onto the Urshifu in order to break the Sash, but regardless, Urshifu is going to drop. And Farigiraf, probably not going to stand too much longer either. Close combat, which is a neutral hit into this for a giraffe, will finish it off. And Keanu does have all the control, or should have a lot of speed control here at least. See, the last Pokemon that switches in is Semi Incineroar. I believe there's one more in the back that we have not yet seen. Incineroar will get badly poisoned. Let's get the Intimidate off onto your Urshifu. Can't win too long of a war of attrition, and it's just Incineroar. Yes, that is true. Yeah, and Geo will cancel the battle. Forgot that the Incineroar was the only thing remaining. And yeah, that's definitely going to be a win for Keanu. So Keanu winning game number 1 in that matchup. Remember when they played before, Keanu did not win a game. It was a 2-0 win for Geo. So an opportunity for Keanu to flip the script here a little bit. Geo changed a couple things up, decided to go for the Fluttermane Urshifu lead, and that didn't really work against the keeping Fluttermane and Urshifu in the back strategy that Keanu had. At the end of the day, Keanu ended up coming out on top there. Let's see if Geo decides to switch things up for game number 2. We saw the Ogerpon had a one-hit knockout onto the Glamora pretty cleanly. A lot of things actually hit the Glamora pretty cleanly for a knockout. Toxic Debris didn't really come into play at all in that, but it certainly was, I don't know, it was interesting. It's interesting that it was there. And we will go on to game number 2 here in semifinals. Win here for Keanu gets him through to the next stage. Doesn't matter that he lost to Giovanni and Swiss. All that matters is he's winning in the top cut. Incineroar Urshifu, the lead for Geo. And on Keanu's side, it will be Fluttermane Urshifu. So Urshifu's on each side, and the Incineroar breaking the tie. It's definitely an opportunity. I mean, we saw this exact set of matchups towards the end of the last battle. A situation where Fluttermane decided to go for an Icy Wind, and Urshifu went for a close combat, I believe into the Incineroar specifically. Incineroar will fake out, break the Focus Sash. Dazzling Gleam going to bring Urshifu down to its own Focus Sash, the Geo's Urshifu. Critical hit, but I don't think that mattered. And the close combat should finish off Keanu's Urshifu. Yes, it will. So, Icy Wind didn't really matter because the fake out was through anyways. And there goes Keanu's Urshifu early on in that one. Great offensive team that Keanu has brought here. Ogerpon, probably the most defensive out of the set, and still a very strong Pokemon regardless. Question here for Keanu, what do you expect Geo to do? Expect Geo to bring in his own Ogerpon so that Incineroar doesn't get hit too hard? Do you expect him to sack one of these Pokemon? It's a serious question. It's booster speed Fluttermane is the fastest thing on the field. Doesn't want to get hit by a Sucker Punch on the Urshifu, that's for sure. Do the Terastal. I believe that's Keanu's. Indeed it is. The Fluttermane going to Terra Fairy, as we saw it do. And we'll see the Terra on both sides. No switches, both Terras. See the Terra onto the Incineroar, the Grass type. So no longer weak to either of Ogerpon's moves. Urshifu will detect. That'll stay around for an extra turn. Fluttermane with a Dazzling Gleam will exclusively hit that Incineroar. And it does a small chunk. Not all that much. Horn Leech, small chunk as well. What does the Fluttermane, or excuse me, the Incineroar do here? Gets the turn off for some pretty decent damage because of the critical hit. And that will mean Ogerpon on Geo's side comes in. Difficult decision to make if you're Keanu here, what you want to do. Of course, you want to keep clicking that Dazzling Gleam. The Dazzling Gleam is the most obvious answer. Question is, what does the Ogerpon want to do? Follow me, redirect a lot of that damage, including a potential Ivy Cudgel, kind of forcing out a Horn Leech. The Horn Leech from the Ogerpon, not a terrible idea regardless, and we'll see it Spiky Shield instead. Keanu's Ogerpon will follow me, so even a Sucker Punch would not go through. That was the attempt, and it will not go through. And that means the Dazzling Gleam will pick up the knockout onto the Urshifu without too much hassle. Nicely played turn for Keanu there. Another critical hit. Both the Dazzling Gleams are critical hits. Not that those mattered in particular, but certainly interesting. Incineroar coming back out here. Gets the Intimidate down onto Keanu's Ogerpon. Will weaken its damage just a touch, but it's still going to... You see the Incineroar swap out again. This time swapping into Geo's own Fluttermane. We'll activate the booster speed on the other side. Can't remember what we decided was the faster Fluttermane when we were deciding earlier. Double Protect from Keanu. Protect from the Wood Hammer. Would have launched into Keanu's Fluttermane. And now Fluttermanes and Ogerpons looking at each other. What is the answer here? All four of these Pokemon tend to struggle, well, can sometimes struggle dealing damage against each other. Geo's is the faster Fluttermane, and that could be a big swing right now. Oh, both Fluttermanes go faster. Geo's Fluttermane actually dodges the attack, so it'll stay as the faster Fluttermane. Geo's Ogerpon will now move faster and will knock out that Fluttermane. The big Wood Hammer bonk. There goes the Fluttermane, a Frastalized Fluttermane. And the... should mean there's a Horn Leech coming through onto the Fluttermane of Geo. Doesn't do that much damage. Heals it back up to full, but at this point it's going to be tough for Keanu to be able to get through this one. Especially Chiyu coming in here. Definitely wants to Heat Wave or something along those lines, but at this point Geo can feel pretty comfortable going for an Icy Wind and doing something that will knock out the Chiyu. So the Ogerpon should be faster anyways. Or at least its base speed is faster. I don't know if this faster the way it was trained, but Chiyu's surprisingly slow. See the Spiky Shield. Ogerpon goes for the Follow Me, so not a double protect from Geo. Give me an Icy Wind. Misses, misses the Ogerpon actually, which is a little strange. Does hit the Chiyu, which is the priority target there. Drops speed once more. Chiyu goes for a Heat Wave. Only connects onto the Fluttermane because of the Protect. See what kind of damage this does. Does knock out the Fluttermane. So now it's all up to the Ogerpon versus Ogerpon matchup, it looks like. Featuring Incineroar. The big difference of the Ogerpon versus Ogerpon matchup is that one of the Ogerpons is at -2 attack. The other very comfortable to keep launching out hits. Well, Follow Me here will certainly buy some time, and one more Heat Wave from Chiyu might actually be able to change things pretty significantly. That could be the decision here for Keanu, which could genuinely win this battle. Fake out into the Ogre Pawn prevents the Follow Me. That means the Ivy Cudgel does come through into the Chiyu, knocks it out. That should be it for Geo. I don't want to call it just yet. It's not a guaranteed over, but it's a pretty good spot for Geo to be in with Incineroar not taking much damage at all against this Ogre Pawn. Give me the Wood Hammer. Doesn't make contact, so it doesn't matter about the spiky shield. Oh, actually it does. Huh. U-turn as well. Take some damage against the spiky shield. See if we can be 100% sure about the matchup here. It is once again a faster Ogre Pawn on Geo's side. The Ivy Cudgel comes out, should finish off the... Oh, wow, does not even come close to finishing off the Incineroar. And the U-turn will finish off the Ogre Pawn. Geo winning game 2 and bringing us to a game number 3. For all of the... Well, not all the marbles, because all the marbles are in the finals, but all the semi-final marbles, I guess you could say. Game number 2, a nice turnaround from Geo. Didn't have terrible plays by Keanu, but Geo definitely had the better end of a lot of plays and just kind of found the better side of a bunch of matchups. I think critically, Geo having, I believe, just higher speed on both Fluttermane and Ogre Pawn is very critical for this matchup, and is certainly helping Geo deal with that. It's not even a mirror matchup exactly. Obviously, there are plenty of different Pokemon in each of these teams. But at least in terms of matchups between the Fluttermane, Urshifu, and Ogre Pawn, which we've seen in both these games so far, Geo definitely has advantages from being faster that Keanu is struggling to match with. We did not see Glamora in game number 2. May see it again in game number 3. And this is a very offensive team, all together from Keanu. Tornadus sets up the Tailwind support for everything else, which just kind of hits really hard. Ogre Pawn probably hits the least hard, as I said, and that's still a pretty offensive Pokemon with a lot of damage. We are getting in to game number 3. Winner goes to finals. Loser eliminated for today. Don't know if either of these two will be back tomorrow for the mid-season showdown, but regardless, Glamora, Ogre Pawn for Keanu, Incineroar for Farigiraf for Geo. So pretty similar to the game 1 leads. Might be the exact same as the game 1 leads. Very close regardless. And Glamora with a serious chance to launch out a Meteor Beam. Can't say for free, but certainly gotta feel pretty good about it. Fake out is possible, but that just means the Toxic Debris will get up very early in this battle. Could also give potentially a switch-in opportunity. Ogre Pawn's gonna switch out. Chiyu will be the one to switch in. Weakens everything Spadef. That could be important. Brastel on Geo's side. I believe that'll be the Incineroar. Yes, it will to Grass once again, as we saw in game number 2. Does make it weak to Sludge Bomb from Glamora now, but does mean it resists the Earth Power. We'll fake out the Glamora. Gets that Toxic Debris up. Glamora flinched, and Farigiraf went for the Trick Room. What are the options here for each of these players now? Chiyu and Glamora are going to be the slower ones on the field right now, but not a bad opportunity for Chiyu to just get damage off. U-turn, okay damage into the Chiyu. And swaps out the Incineroar, most importantly. Doesn't have Parting Shot, so not able to lower any of Chiyu's stats, just has to get on out of there. Doesn't have Snarl either, just getting out of there. Fluttermane, the one to switch in. It'll take some damage here, assuming that Chiyu is still standing after whatever Vergiraffe is about to do. Let's get that booster speed, meaning it'll be very much the slowest thing on the field. The Vergiraffe Psychicking the Glamora, that should knock it out as we saw earlier, and once again the Glamora will drop pretty early on in this battle. There's a Chiyu Heat Wave. Some good damage there. Burns the Vergiraffe. Means it can't be poisoned. And there's the poison on the Fluttermane that it took when it swapped into the poison spikes. Chiyu is locked into the Heat Wave. It's not able to protect or anything. Not a bad spot for Keanu to be in. Two Pokemon on very low HP right in front of you. Either decides to switch out, whatever switches in will get poisoned. Though Keanu is moving very slowly with this, so it won't be too important. Ogerpon switching in here. Does have the Embody aspect to boost its special defense up, even though Chiyu is lowering it right now. See the Terra. Will be that Terra Water Ogerpon boosting the special defense. Embody aspect. I've been saying that so many times today. I don't know if I will stop saying it. I don't know if anyone in the finals is going to be bringing anything other than the Wellspring. But regardless, Vergiraffe with the Hyper Voice, what damage it'll do? Not enough to knock out the Chiyu. That means the Chiyu misses someone with the Heat Wave, misses the Fluttermane. That's a pretty brutal miss. Ogerpon will have to mop up the extras here. And indeed it will, with that Horn Leech. Will finish it off, so not going to lose too much there for Keanu. And Keanu actually in a pretty fantastic spot here. Ogerpon should be able to stall out a couple more turns. Geo's in a spot where you're not able to both stall out turns and try to make your way out of, both these Pokemon are now poisoned. There's effectively no Focus Sash on the Urshifu. Ogerpon does get a -1 attack drop. Who gets poisoned as well, so both these Pokemon will drop. Both these Pokemon will drop to Chiyu right now. If Chiyu is allowed to get a Heat Wave off and it connects on both targets. The chance that happens? Not really sure. Fake Out comes through and it's going to knock down the Chiyu to pretty low HP. That should mean, the close combat in the Ogerpon, not going to knock it out. Very, very close, but not going to get there. The Ogerpon does have one more opportunity to get a shot off. Going to go for an Ivy Cudgel. Goes into the Urshifu. It should pretty much knock it out. Indeed it will. Gets the critical hit as well, which goes through its attack drops. And that'll knock it out through the remainder of the poison. And now it is just one more Incineroar, although Geo's already gotten up. That might be the call that he's calling this one for today. Unable to see an out in this battle. And yep, Geo's stepped away. I think the Heat Wave might just finish it off by itself. But regardless, Keanu Inosanto winning over Giovanni Costa, the regional champion. Nice win by Keanu there. That'll send him to the finals once we wait for this Heat Wave to connect. The Heat Wave could miss. Anything could happen. Now the Heat Wave's going to connect and it's going to knock out the Incineroar. A great win by Keanu. Yeah, definitely adapting in that game number 3, and the poison certainly helped. Glamora wasn't totally useless in game number 3, and Chiyu getting those hits off was very important with those heat waves. We will take a quick break. When we come back, finals for the gym challenge. Don't go anywhere.